Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Can someone lead a kirtan, please, for another 2-3 minutes by the time everyone else will join? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Mataji.
May I do?
Please go ahead, Mataji.
Okay, Prabhuji.
You must have spoken to Dhruva.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Rajajanarandana Yashodanandana Rajajanarandana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I would like to welcome everyone in today's session of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, Hare Krishna to all of you once again. So, before we begin, we'll do a small, we'll do a Mangala Charan and then we'll receive. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Udiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapata Kamini Namne Acharya Pradanya Gaurav. Hope everyone is able to hear my voice. Is the audio audible to everyone?
Yes,
Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Dhanavad Pranam. Is everyone able to see my screen as well?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So today we are going to discuss from the 6th canto, 18th chapter, from verse number 30 until 38, where Diti has taken vow to kill Indra. Yeah. So the 8 shlokas that we are going to cover today will discuss about how Diti is requesting her husband Kashyapa Muni to give her a benediction. Now, what is that benediction? Benediction is to give her a child who will ultimately kill Indra. Yeah? So today we will discuss the psychology of Diti, the reason behind why she wanted to kill, and we will also discuss some philosophical point what is mentioned in the purport written by Srila Prabhupada. So what we'll do today is I will cover from shloka number 30 until 32. We'll go continuous because the subsequent 2 shlokas does not have purport. So we'll do it together. Yeah. So we'll do 30, 31, and 32, and then we'll go on for the next topic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call out names so they can read the shloka, and they, one of them can read the shloka while someone else can read the translation as well. So we'll not read the purport. So I'll call out the name. So whoever would like to read the shloka and the translation, you can raise your hands so I can call out their names. So first I will recite the shloka, then I'll call out the names. Yeah. So it's 6:18:30. Vilokaye kanta bhutani bhutani ado prajapatihi striyam chakresva dehardaham yaya pumsam matirta. Can I request Salome Mataji to kindly read the shloka for us?
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Vilokya kanta bhutani bhutanyadav prajapati sriyam chakre swadehardam yaya pumsham matirhitaha.
Thank you, Mataji. Can I request Divya Mataji to read the translation for us?
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In the beginning of creation, Lord Brahma, the father of living entities of the universe, saw that all living entities were unattached. To increase population, he then created women from the better half of a man's body, for woman's behavior carries away a man's mind. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, thank you. We'll also do the next shloka, that is the 31. Evam susritastata bhagavan kashyapa sriya prahasya parama prito ditim ahabhinandayacha. Who would like to recite the shloka? No one? Okay, now Kishore Mataji, can you please recite the shloka? Hare Krishna.
Sure, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Evam shushruti statata bhagwan kashyapah striya prahasya parama prito diti maha binandya cha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Pranam.
Can I request Padma Mataji to kindly read the translation for us?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Oh, my dear one, the most powerful sage Kashyapa, being extremely pleased by the mild behavior of his wife Diti, smiled and spoke to her as follows. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So 6:18:32. Sri Kashyapu vacha varam varaya vamuro pritaste aham manindite striya bhartari suprite ka kama hi achagamaha. Can I request Ambika Mataji to kindly read out the shloka for us?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
Sri Kashyapa Vacha वरं वरय वामोरु प्रीते स्तेहमन्दिते स्त्रिया भर्तरि सुप्रेते कह काम एहि चागमः. Hare Krishna
Thank you.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Can I request Saras Mataji? Can you please read out the shloka for us?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Dandavat.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Kashyapa Muni said, "O beautiful woman, O irreproachable lady, since I am very much pleased by your behavior, you may ask me for any benediction you want. If a husband is pleased, what desires are difficult for his wife to obtain, either in this world or in the next?" Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So here in the shloka number 30, the translation says that in the beginning of creation, Lord Brahma, the father of the living entities of the universe, saw that all the living entities are unattached. And when you say unattached, basically they were, kind of liberated. So they did not want to get into any kind of sense gratification. Therefore, to increase population, he then created women from the better half of man's body, for women's behavior carries away a man's mind. So quite an important aspect that we need to understand. But even before we, divulge or dive into the philosophical point of what Prabhupada has mentioned, we'll also go a bit on a background of what exactly where we are heading to. So if you all know, how many of you know who is Diti? Does anyone know who is Diti?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. She was the
Yes,
wife
ma'am.
of Kashyapa and daughter
Yes.
of Daksha Prajapati.
Daksha Prajapati, yes. Yes.
And,
Anyone else would like to add something?
Hiranyakashipu's and Hiranyaksha's mom.
Yeah. Very famous personality, isn't it? And thanks to her that we are celebrating Narasimha Chaturdashi, every year. Okay. And also, we have the great Prahlad Maharaj because of that. Okay. Now, Kashyapa is actually, her husband. Basically, Kashyapa married two sisters. Yeah. So Kashyapa happens to be one of the Prajapatis and also the son of Marichi. And of course, one of the son-in-law of Prajapati Daksha. So it is also known as it is also told that he's the father of the gigantic Garuda, the bird Garuda. And he married 13 daughters of Prajapati Daksha. And so out of those 13, one is Diti and the other one is Aditi. Yeah. Now, so primarily we discussed about Diti and also to give you a background of Aditi. Now, he begot many children, from both the wives, that is Aditi and Diti. Now, from Aditi, whichever children were begotten, they were all from the Devic Gun, meaning most of them were demigods. In fact, even one of the child to be born from Aditi was Vamandev. So all the children that were begetted from Aditi were with Devic Gun, all Devatas, while from Diti, all the Daityas, that is, in other words, the demonic, all the demons were born. Now, Diti and Aditi are actually two sisters. Yeah. So, therefore, the son of Aditi are called as Adityas. Yeah. And the sons of Diti are called Daityas or demons. Now, all the Adityas are actually the devotees of the Lord. And all the Daityas, which means the demons, are the atheistic. So, but Prahlad was born from Prahlad Maharaj was born in the family of the Daityas, from the demonic family. And he was actually, but he became one of the greatest devotee of the Lord. Why? Because of his devotional service and the godly nature. But why? Because Narad Muni had instructed the when Narad Muni instructed the Krishna consciousness while he was in the womb. Yeah. So all of us, someone mentioned that Diti also happens to be the mother of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Now, if you all know the background of this story, now Diti was slightly jealous of Aditi because she realized that Aditi has begotten many children, and Diti did not have any children. So there was some kind of jealousness within her heart, and then she approached Kashyapa Muni, and she requested Kashyapa Muni that she wished to have children. Now, when she approached, she did not approach at the right time. She approached at the time which was not appropriate to beget any child. So, in fact, Kashyapa Muni was at the stage of doing his Sandhya Vandana, and that is the time when Diti requested. So Kashyapa Muni, bluntly refused. He said, "No, this is not the right time." But Diti insisted, and if you all can, refer to the shlokas where she gives sufficient reasons and and trying to convince Kashyapa Muni that why it was necessary for her and how it's so uncontrollable for her, and therefore she wanted to unite and beget the children. So finally, Kashyapa Muni had to give in to her request, and then after getting united, he cursed. He said, the children that is going to be begetted now, 2 children, they will create havoc in all the 3 worlds. And they're going to be demons, and they're going to be disaster for every living entity. Yeah. And with that, he left the place. But then it was too late. And Diti also realized that it was one of the greatest mistakes that she committed. So I was hearing one of the lecture where one of the Prabhu was saying, and that Prabhu happened to give this lecture, I think, in Florida. So he was mentioning that at least in those days, so basically, all the system of the Vedic system, I actually captured in India so nicely. So, and even today, the husband and wife, they wish to beget children, and because they want to beget children, so they get into the rituals of marriage, which is compulsory. So in fact, it is also said that the very purpose of marriage is to beget children, not just any children, but to get children who are Krishna consciousness. But how do we get a Krishna conscious child? By just doing a marriage, by just conducting some, fire ceremony and getting married. Does one get any children who are Krishna consciousness? Absolutely not. Yeah. So how do we get a children who are Krishna consciousness? Yeah. So there is a process known as Garbhadhara Samskara. So if at all, if any couple gets, when a couple gets married, and when the wife decides to beget children, or when the husband wishes to get a child, so there is something known as Garbhadhara Samskara, which they have to undergo. And then they request the Lord to send a soul, who will become a devotee. So that is the purpose of one is purpose of having purpose of getting married and also having children. So when we read the translation of the first shloka, so what does it say? It says that, so Lord Brahma, to increase the population, then he created woman from the better half of man's body. So also the other purpose is to increase the population. Now, but nowadays, every country, especially country like India or country like China, where the populations are booming, so they want to actually control the population. They don't want to expand, isn't it? So they say, try somehow not to have more than 2 children. But our Acharya said that, we can have as many children as we want, but see to that all the children are Krishna conscious. As long as the child is Krishna consciousness, there is absolutely no problem in having as many children as we want. Yeah, because the purpose of having child is also to make him a devotee. Yeah, to bring him into this world and make him a devotee and to send him back to the Lord, so that he'd never come, so that he'd never ever takes birth again. Yeah, and that should be the purpose. In fact, in the 5th canto, the 5th chapter and the 18th verse, very famous verse. Yeah. It says, Guru na sasyat, swajano na sasyat, pita na sasyat, janini na sasyat, daivam na tatsyat, na patischasa shaya. It means that one cannot call oneself as a guru if they don't deliver his disciples. One cannot call oneself as a father if the father cannot deliver his own child. One cannot call a demigod. One cannot call himself a demigod if they cannot deliver his devotee. Or one cannot call the whole point is, if we bring a child into this material world, we have to ensure that he becomes a devotee. And we have to do whatever possible. Yeah, we have to give that circumstances, that environment, so that that child gets nourishment of Krishna consciousness. And then child becomes a devotee and ultimately goes back to Godhead. But unfortunately, we are in this Kali Yuga. Yeah. We are living in this material world. And as Kali Yuga is advancing, we know what are the issues that are happening. Nowadays, forget about marriage. There is some new concept that has come out. They call it as live-in relation. Yeah. So it is like, going to a restaurant and checking how the quality is. So it's a very rude statement, but that's the fact. Yeah, a girl and a boy decides to stay together for some time, and then finally decide whether they want to get married or not married. In fact, I'm sure there were many cases from Bangalore which came about in the newspaper, wherein where the boy has murdered the girl, the same girl whom he was having a live-in relationship. Am I correct? Is there anyone from Bangalore here?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. And because first of all, there is a free mix-up of boys and girls, and then they work under such a stressful environment of work, and then they want to spend time together. So in the name of saving money, and in the name of getting into commitment, they formed this word as live-in relation, which is basically Western mentality and very fast catching up within India. So ultimately, what's happening? So there will be a, Arjuna, says in the Bhagavad Gita, when he was actually in argument with the Lord, and the Lord is insisting that why are you not fighting? So he is saying that, if I kill all this, if I'm going to win this battle, what is going to happen? All the soldiers will get killed, and ultimately there will be widows only who will be left. And when there will be widows, what will happen? They'll get contaminated. And when they get contaminated, there will be a Varna Shankara. Yeah. There will be unwanted population. This is exactly the issue here. Yeah. So when there is no Garbhadhara Samskara, yeah, when the marriage does not happen, then what is happening? It is all unwanted population. And nowadays, people don't even want that. Yeah. They just want to enjoy each other, get united, enjoy each other, and get into sense gratification. So, so one is the live-in relationship, yeah. So which is happening, and which is actually quite a dangerous trend that is happening. So it's very, very important that we as parents, yeah, we have to educate our children. We have to ensure that how we have to inculcate the tradition of the Vedic culture into our system, and we have to also protect. So it's very important. In fact, apart from this, the live-in relationship, this one more new concept which has come out is the same-sex marriage. Yeah, boys getting married to a boy, yeah, the girl getting married to a girl. In fact, the fundamental foundation of a marriage is to beget a child. Now, when you have a same-sex marriage, how are you going to get a child? So what they do, they they go to some, they adopt a child. Yeah, just like going to some supermarket and buying something, and then they finally realize, they have got separated. Have you ever come across any successful same-sex marriage that has lived for so many years? I'm sure none of you would have heard about that. Yeah. I was working in an organization, yeah, coming from a fashion industry. So I'm sure everyone knows what kind of culture the fashion industry follows. So me working in this part of the world, and almost I would say 90% of the people who were working, they were all from Europe, and they used to have this. Most of them were quite proud to call themselves as gay, and and it was quite prominent of the same-sex marriage there. But I would see that hardly they would sustain for 1 year, maximum 2 years, just like cats and dogs. Yeah, the cat does not have a permanent partner. The dog doesn't have a permanent partner. Yeah, it keeps on changing. So similarly, so this is all about sense gratification, and then they try to institutionalize, the the purity of marriage into such nonsense thing. Actually, how can you have same-sex marriage? It's not there in the Vedic, in our scripture. It's not mentioned anywhere. How can you have a marriage? Can happen only between a boy and a girl, and the purpose, that's how the nature has been created. And then the purpose is to have a child. And what child? It's a Krishna consciousness child, not just any other child. Yeah. In fact, if you refer to the third canto, 31st chapter and the 42nd shloka, yeah, Prabhupada very clearly states that a man and a woman should live together as householders in relationship with Krishna, and that is the only purpose. Yeah, the only purpose is for discharging the duties in the service of Krishna only. So that should be the purpose of actual marriage. Yeah. So first of all, husband and wife living together, yeah, and then begetting a child, and not only just begetting the child, the husband serving the Lord, the wife helping the husband to discharge his duty towards the Lord, and then also begetting a child, then developing that child's consciousness, and then finally delivering him towards the Lord. That should be the real purpose of a Grahastha life. How many of you all agree with this statement? Can you all raise your hands if you agree, please? Very few. Not sure whether the others have not raised their hands because they haven't heard, or I'm not sure, or they disagree with what I'm saying. Anyways, that's what the Shastra says, and that's what we are here for. So coming back to the topic. Now, Prabhupada mentions here that this entire universe is going under the spell of sexual attachment, which was created by Lord Brahma to increase the population of entire universe, not only in human society, but also in other species. This is self-explanatory because that's how, if there is no increase of population, then there will be how the sustenance will happen. So obviously the population needs to be increased, and for that Brahma created the man and the woman. Now Prabhupada mentions here that the entire world is going under the spell of sexual attraction, that is a desire between a man and a woman. And he also mentioned that when a man and woman unite, the hard knot of this attraction becomes increasingly tight, and thus a man is implicated in the material ways of life. So when we keep Krishna in center of our life, can you all give me just a second, just 1 minute, please? Sorry, Hare Krishna. So, first of all, the purpose of, as I mentioned, the purpose of marriage is to beget a child. And in a Grahastha life, when Krishna is the center of everything, then not only the marriage becomes successful, even the life that we are leading is also successful. So when the center of the house becomes you and me, then there is a problem. Then there is a lot of issues in the house. There is always trouble. There is always ego that comes into the play. But whereas when we keep Krishna in center, then there is absolutely no question of you and me, but always him. And who is that him? That is Lord Krishna. So the second shloka, Kashyapa, is very happy, extremely pleased by Diti's request. So because he was so pleased, and then he speaks further. Now what is that he says? And he says that, oh beautiful, then he starts glorifying. He starts glorifying Diti, saying that because he is so pleased with whatever she has requested, so therefore he is going to give some benediction. Now the translation says that if a husband is pleased, what desires are difficult for his wife to obtain? So sometimes this, now historically, if you see, there is one incident wherein the husband gave a benediction, but then that created so much of havoc. From the Puranas, does anyone knows who's that? Who is that character who gave benediction to his wife? Yes? Mataji was saying something. Does anyone know? Which is that Purana story? Which one?
Dasarath Maharaja.
Yes.
Dasarath
Yes,
Maharaja.
yes, yes, Dasharath Maharaja. So now Dasharath Maharaj was so pleased with Kaikeyi, yeah, and then he said, he can ask for some benediction or boon. So she reserved that benediction and boon. She said, when the right time comes, I will ask. And ultimately, what did she ask? She asked that, that boon was not for her. Yeah. So she ultimately wished that, Lord Ram should be banished into the woods for 14 years. And then Bharat Maharaj should be placed as a king. So when Dasharath Maharaj heard this, he was so upset. He said, why did I even think of giving that boon to her? And with that pain, and he was thinking, how can he even go and approach, Lord Ram? How can he even see his face? He was in such a distress condition. And then finally he had to leave his body. He died because of this distress. Yeah. So now here also, now Kashyapa Muni is so pleased. He is about to give the benediction without understanding what is actually running in the heart of Diti. Now the intention of Diti is something else. Yeah? Intention of Diti is to beget a child who is actually, so that that child can come out and then he can kill Indra. But why Indra? Because Indra did not kill Hiranyakashipu, or Indra did not kill Hiranyakshi. It was Lord Vishnu who killed. So why Indra? Anyone knows the answer? Why Indra? Why she wanted to kill Indra for that matter?
Lord Vishnu wanted to help Indra, so he was always helping the demigods.
Okay, slightly, partially correct. Anyone else?
Indra was the son of Aditi and.
Mataji, your voice is very low. We can't hear you. Because Indra was actually he's the king of the demigods, isn't it? And he was helping the demigods. And Diti knew that no one can kill Lord Vishnu. She knew it very well. So the only way, to take out the revenge was to kill Indra, because he happens to be the king of all the devatas. So that is one of the reasons why she wanted to kill Indra. Yeah. So here in the translation, it says that if a husband is pleased, what desires are difficult for his wife to obtain, either in this world or in the next. So basically, if any benediction has to be sought from a husband, is to make the husband happy, to please the husband, which the wife knows the trick very well. Okay, let's get on with the next shloka. 33 and 34. I'm going to read out the shloka. So if anyone would like to repeat after me, they can raise their hand. 6, 18, 33 and 34. Patireva hi narina daivatam paramam smritam manasa sarvabhutanam vasudeva shriya patihi saeva devta lingair amarupa vikalpitihi kalpitai ichate bhagavan kumbihi stribhischa patirupadrak. Can I request Krishnamurti Prabhu to recite the shloka for us?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Patir hi narinam daivatam paramatmam srutam manasaha sarvabhutanam vasudeva shriyah patihi sayeva devata linger nama rupa vikalpitah युज्यते भगवान् पुंभिः स्त्रिभिश्च पतिः रूपधृक्.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Who would like to read the translation? Someone? No one has raised their hands. Can I request Archana Mataji to read out this translation, please? Okay, Chandra Mataji. Okay, I think.
Shall I, Prabhuji?
Oh, Divya Mataji, please go ahead.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A husband is the supreme demigod for a woman. The supreme personality of Godhead, Lord Vasudeva, the husband of the goddess of fortune, is situated in everyone's heart and worshipped through the various names and forms of the demigods by fruitive workers. Similarly, a husband represents the Lord as the object of worship for a woman. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you, Hare Krishna. So, Prabhupada mentions here, so here, just to dive into the translation, it is said that the husband is a supreme demigod for a woman. Yeah. Now, the husbands who are there in the group, they should not feel proud, and, they should not show this as a proof, saying that, now, from today onwards, see, this is what the Shastra, Praman is there. So you need to treat me as a demigod. No. Are we in that position? Are we capable enough? Yeah. Whether we are demigod or for the women or not, whatever it is, our actual position is Jiver Swarupai Krishner Nityadas. This is our real position, and this is the position of the wife as well. And we should also teach this to our children, that this is our real position. Who is the master? Master is the Supreme Lord, Krishna. Yeah. And we, as a family, as a husband, wife, and child, yeah, all the four coming together and to serve the Lord. So when the family come together and serve the Lord, then the Lord becomes pleased. Just like a father, yeah, gets pleased when the father looks at the child, that the child is behaving so nicely and the child is giving respect. The child is following all the instructions, whatever has been given out by the father. So the father naturally will become very pleased. So similarly, when we as a family come together and, keeping Krishna in the center of our every activity. Yeah. So when I say activity, so what is that activity? Now, I'm sure each one of us, are working. Either they are working or they're having their own, they are self-employed, or there is some of the other way. Some are connected to the temple directly. So some who are connected to the temple directly, obviously they're always under the shelter. But someone who is actually working from morning, say 9 to 5, so major of the time actually goes out, going out, spending time with someone else, and then coming back home. So in that process, how do we keep Krishna in center? So what is to be done? So at that point in time, the wife, who is also a granny, of the house, then she takes over. So the husband takes the responsibility of handling the economic situation of the house, while the wife takes care of the spiritual aspect of the house. So, Prabhupada always mentioned that the husband and wife are like the two parallel, railway, the railway track. Yeah. So it should always run in parallel. Suppose, one line goes on one side, the other line goes on the other side. So what will happen? So the engine will not run. Yeah. The train cannot run. There will be an accident. Yeah. Because both the lines are not aligned. So it's very important that the alignment, the thought process, the alignment, the practices should go in parallel. In parallel, that means keeping Krishna in center. So the husband goes out to earn money. And what is that money for? Money is for our spiritual development. Yeah. So it's not that, we get all the money and then, we spend to our riches, and then we say, Prabhuji, no money. How do we practice Krishna consciousness? No. Krishna doesn't say that, whatever money you earn, give it to me. He doesn't say that. Yeah. Krishna, in fact, says what? Patram pushpam phalam toyam, right? Yeah. Just one leaf, little water. Yeah. One flower. Yeah. Patram pushpam phalam, one fruit. What effort does it take? No effort at all. In fact, Krishna doesn't need these. Yeah. He is Atmaram. He is self-sufficient. He's got everything. Krishna is actually wanting our bhava, our attitude, yeah, our reciprocation, our love. Krishna is actually hungry for our love only, nothing else. But by offering flowers, yeah, we are reciprocating our bhava towards him. By offering fruit, we are actually reciprocating our bhava to him. Yeah, just like a child. For example, a father will tell a child that, take this 10 rupees or say 50 rupees, can you go and get some chocolates? So what the child will do, the child will go and get 2 chocolates. And he will get 2 chocolates, he will give 1 chocolate to the father. Now the father will not say, oh, you have taken my own money and you're giving me the chocolate to me. No. The moment the child gives the 2 chocolate, the father is so happy. Yeah. So he will give the chocolate back to the child. He'll say, no, I don't want to eat. This is for you, you please eat. Yeah. It is a love that is being displayed here. So similarly, when we offer everything to the Lord is so pleased. The Lord says, yes, see, he's actually acknowledging my presence. He's acknowledging that whatever he has earned, whatever he has, accumulated, he's actually offering it to me. So then what happens? Everything becomes pure. Now, whatever salary we get, Krishna doesn't say that, you deposit the salary into my account. No, absolutely not. When we keep a plate full of bhoga to the Lord doesn't jump out of the altar and, finishes off. The Lord just gives a glance onto the bhoga. And then that bhoga, when we honor it as prasadam, our consciousness gets purified. It is for our own benefit, not for the benefit of the Lord. It is for our own benefit. So these are the processes as a grahastha we follow. But this we can follow only if we keep Krishna in the center. Yeah. Now this, it's so one should not get so egoistic saying that, well, in the shloka it is said that, husband is a demigod, the woman should treat the husband as a demigod. No. If a husband is desiring to have Sita, but is the husband as qualified as Ram? We don't know. So why? These are all certain examples that we need to follow. So the whole point is the husband or the wife or the children what is more important is to build the Krishna consciousness. Yeah. To make the house, convert the house into a temple. So when we convert the house into a temple, what will happen? There will be peace. There will be satisfaction. Yeah. And it will be always amongst living with the Lord. So that should be the consciousness. Now, Prabhupada is mentioning here that whatever a man may sacrifice to other gods, O son of Kunti, is really meant for me alone, but it is offered without true understanding. In fact, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhuktharam ekatapasam sarvaloke mahisharam surdam sarva bhutanam yatva ma shantim rachati Bhuktharam yagya tapasam. Yeah. See, I am the bhokta of the yajna that has been conducted. Yeah. So he says, it is meant for me. Krishna says very, very clearly. Yeah. Now, and the Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita 9.23, yeah, Eapyanya devata bhaktya yajante shraddhavayantata te apimam eva kaunteya yajanti avidi purvakam. So whatever they are doing, actually they are not doing in a proper manner. They are doing it in an indirect way. So when we worship the Lord, it is actually direct. But when someone is worshipping a demigod, it is an indirect way. So Prabhupada mentions here that one who is not in direct touch with the Supreme Lord and cannot conceive the exalted position of the Lord is sometimes advised to worship the demigod as various parts of the Lord, indirectly. Very soon Ganesh Chaturthi is going to come, this Tuesday. So there will be so many people celebrating Ganesh Chaturthi. So in Maharashtra, especially, every Ganesh Chaturthi, they'll sing some Aarti. And the end, and they will, all the initial stanzas of the Aarti is basically glorifying Lord Ganesha. And then at the end of the Aarti, it says, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. That means, and in the Aarti, very clearly the translation says that whatever I have sang till now, whatever I have done till now, everything is been offered to Lord Narayan, which people generally don't understand because they don't want to learn this. They don't want to read out through the translation, just like a ritual. So nowadays, everything what we do is ritual only, because there is no spirit. So when we attach spirit to the ritual, it becomes spiritual. But when we remove the spirit, then it becomes a ritual. So nowadays, everything has become so ritualistic. But our institution, Krishna consciousness movement, wants to enforce the spiritual aspect of it, keeping Krishna in center. So Prabhupada is mentioning that in India, a husband is still called Pati Guru. Why Pati Guru? Because he's the Margdarshiya. He is the one who shows the way. The husband's spiritual master. If a husband and wife are attached to one another for advancement of Krishna consciousness, then their relationship of cooperation is very effective for such advancement. So this is the point that we have to take it from here. So while the husband and wife can be attached, but what is that attachment? Towards progressing in Krishna consciousness. And that attachment is really nice. So if I'm attached to my wife, or if my wife is attached to me, but our purpose is to grow in Krishna consciousness. So I should ensure that my wife is chanting her 16 rounds. My wife is honoring only Krishna Prasad. To have to see to that she is all the time, amongst the devotees association. So this becomes my attachment to her. Similarly, her attachment to me to ensure that, my thought process is always surrounding with Krishna consciousness. And then both of our responsibility then becomes, what about our child? Is his development surrounding around Krishna consciousness? Yes or no? So this should be our approach of a grihastha life. Okay, we'll get on with the next shloka. Tasmat pativrata naraya shreyas kamas sumadhyame yajante anya bhavena patim atmanam ishwaram. Who can read out? Padma Mataji, can you please read the shloka for us?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Tasmat pativrata naryah shreyas kama sumadhyame yajante nyabhavena patim atmanam ishwaram. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Who would like to read the translation?
Prabhuji, shall I?
Yes. Go ahead, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Translation by Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada. My dear wife, whose body is so beautiful. One second. Your waist being this. See the font. A conscientious wife should. Actually, I'm using my mobile, Prabhuji, and that is why it is. The font is
no
too
problem.
small. And
Sure. No.
Yeah, and so when I scroll, it goes to the other side of the thing. Abide by the orders of her husband. she should very devotedly worship her husband as a representative of the Vasudeva. Sorry about that.
Vasudeva.
Hare Krishna.
No, absolutely no problem, bro. Thank you so much for reading out. So Kashyapa Muni is now telling her that, my dear wife, that is Diti. Yeah. So he is also trying to justify that why is he giving his benediction to the wife, that whose body is so beautiful, and then he is glorifying her that your waist is being thin. A conscientious wife should be chaste. So chaste meaning always listening to what, like Prabhupada mentioned that Pati Guru, yeah. So he's like a spiritual master. So she abides by the instruction of the husband. So the wife should be chaste and should abide by the orders of her husband always. So she should be very devotedly worship her husband as a representative of Vasudeva. Yeah? So this is very important, and there's nothing wrong in taking this as an instruction for every householder. Yeah. So similarly, when a wife takes her husband as the representative of the Lord, yeah, then what happens? Then there is a respect. Then there is a respect among, this is just like a Lord and the devotees relationship. Yeah, just like a guru and a disciple relationship. So there will be always an awe and reverence, a respect will be there. Yeah, there will be peace in the house. Why? Because there is no you and me. There is no I and me. There is no fight. There is always Krishna who is in the center of everything. So when we keep Krishna in the center of every dealing that we do, then there is no question of any fight in the house. Yeah, nowadays you see there's the rate of divorces are going so high. Why? The husband disagrees with the wife disagrees with the husband. Yeah. Then ultimately, who suffers? It is the children who suffer. Yeah. I'm sure some few decades back, there would be hardly any case of divorces. But nowadays, the cases of divorces are so alarming. Yeah. So people are just like, they marry within few months. I know so many cases. Few months, they just want to get divorced. They don't want to continue the relationship. Why? Because Krishna consciousness is lacking. That's why. Earlier days, yeah, people were spiritual. People were devoted. People knew the values of life, and there used to be joint family system. Yeah, the stress level was very, very low because the expectations were very low. Yeah, and this unwanted media intervention wasn't there. The unwanted exposure wasn't there. Nowadays, it's due to an overexposure, that is actually spoiling the society. So it's very important for us to realize. So this is the time, yeah, because as the Kali Yuga is advancing, we will start facing more and more challenges, more and more problems. So this is a time when we have to and we have to be much more serious about our spiritual practices. Yeah, because that is what is ultimately going to deliver us, nothing else. We are not going to remain husband as ever. We are not going to remain wife as ever. We are not going to remain child as ever. Yeah, this is all temporary designations. We were a child earlier, and from child, what we came into youth. From youth, we became an adult. From adult, maybe a father or a wife, and then from a father, then grandfather. Yeah, the designation keeps changing as we age. Then ultimately, what happens? We face death. That is a reality. Yeah. So life is an examination. Yeah. Life is a preparation, and death is an examination. This is what we need to understand. And that is the ultimate test, and which will decide how we have prepared. Based on the preparation, it will decide whether the examination is going to be successful or is going to be a failure. So we don't want to fail, isn't it? Otherwise, again, punarapi janmam, punarapi maranam. Yeah, we will get into the cycle of knots. So we need to avoid that. Okay, I think we are running out of time. We'll quickly complete the remaining shlokas. Just two more. Soham tvaya rachito bhadre irdag bhavena bhaktitha tam te sampadaye kamam ashritam sudarlabam. Who wants to read this shloka? Anyone? Okay. Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Soham tvayarchito bhadre idrik bhavena bhaktitaha tam te sampadaye kamam asatinam sudurlabam. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Who would like to read the translation?
I'll read,
Go ahead. Yeah, Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. My translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My dear gentle wife, because you have worshipped me with great devotion, considering me a representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I shall reward you by fulfilling your desire, which are unobtainable for an unchaste wife. Thank you, Prabhuji.
So because Diti was a chaste wife, and Kashyapa Muni was very pleased, and therefore he agreed to give the benediction to Diti without realizing what is she going to ask next, yeah, which we will know now in the next shloka. Now Diti is speaking. Diti ruvacha varado yadi me brahman Utram indrahanam vrane amrityam mrita putraham ename gatitau sutau. Who would like to read the shloka? Padma Mataji, please go ahead.
Yeah, okay, Prabhuji. Ditirvacha varado yadi me brahman putram indrahanam vrine amritam nitya putranam yename gratitau sutau.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Who would like to read the translation, please?
May Prabhuji?
Yes, please go ahead, Prabhu. Krishnamurti Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Translation by A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada ki jai. Diti replied, "O my husband, O great soul, I have now lost my sons. If you want to give me a benediction, I ask you for an immortal son who can kill Indra. I pray for this because Indra, with the help of Vishnu, has killed my two sons Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu." Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. See this, yeah? So, now this is not the purpose of getting a child. Now, because now she became so attached to her sons, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksh, yeah? First of all, she requested to get a child, yeah, from Kashyapa Muni, that too at the wrong time. And in the evening time, when there is actually the time to do, spiritual activity. And Kashyapa Muni had warned that this is not a good time to beget any child. But if so insist, but the result will be this. Yeah. Now, when you're having a demon, so it is so obvious that the demon are going to be killed. Now, having a demon and then, again requesting to kill the person who actually killed the demon. See, look at the audacity of her. So this is the mentality, and this should not be the general mentality. The purpose of having a child is not to kill anyone. Just like, for example, I'm requesting a child. Finally, I want him to become a murderer. How good will that be? It is not good. Yeah. So are we going to bring a child into this world who is actually going to kill someone else? No. That is not as per the Vedic teachings. And that one should aim for. And let me tell you, Nowadays, we get children who are actually, we are actually getting children to murder them. Now, when I say murder them, what is that? They are actually killing themselves. Yeah? So, if the child does not get a Krishna conscious environment, what is he doing? He's doing Atmahanam. Yeah? He is killing himself. He's that particular soul is actually not going back to Godhead. So he is getting trapped into this material world. So he's coming into this material world, yeah, and then enjoying for some time, getting into sense gratification, yeah, then finally getting old, dying, again taking birth. So are we doing anything good? So is there any difference between what Diti wished for and what we have got our child for? Actually, there's no difference. Unless and until we're getting a child for a purpose of delivering that child back to Godhead, isn't it? So that should be the consciousness. So let's get on with the next shloka. Now this, Diti has request. Now now the benediction has been already given. Yeah. Now Kashyapa Muni already benedicted. He is pleased. He glorified her, and now then he said, "Okay, please go ahead. What you want?" Now he cannot go back. Now it's too late. Kashyapa Muni already committed, and they are all, he's one of the Prajapatis. So obviously, there should be value of his words. He cannot take it back. Now Diti took all that as an advantage and then put this as a request. Now see what happens next. Okay, the last shloka, 38. Nishamya tad vacho vipro vimana paryatapyata aho adharma sumahan adya me samupastitaha. Who would like to read the shloka? The last shloka. Someone? Yes, Salome Mataji, please go ahead.
Nishamyata vako vipro vimanha paryatapyata aho adharmaha sumahan adyame samupastitaha.
Thank you, Mataji. Someone would like to read the translation?
Prabhu, can I read?
Yes, go ahead, Suguna Vrinda Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Dandat pranams. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Upon hearing Diti's request, Kashyapa Muni was very much aggrieved. Alas, he lamented, "Now I face the danger of the impious act of killing Indra."
Thank you.
Want me to read the purport, Prabhu?
Yeah, you can. Just 2 lines.
Okay. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Although Kashyapa Muni was eager to fulfill the desire of his wife Diti, when he heard that she wanted a son to kill Indra, his jubilation was immediately reduced to nothing because he was averse to the idea. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So this is the repetition of, the earlier section where he fulfilled the desires of Diti to beget a child, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksh. And then after fulfilling her desire, he actually cursed Diti that, you will be begetting a demon child. Now here, again, when she is requesting, of course, she did not reveal that what was the reason of her begetting a child. So she was waiting for Kashyapa Muni to agree, and she actually pleased him and made him give that benediction, and she was waiting. And the moment he gave the benediction, she expressed what kind of benediction she wants. And then when he heard that this is the actual reason of the benediction, he was so upset. Just imagine, just few moments back, he was actually glorifying her. Yeah. And immediately after hearing the purpose of this benediction, so everything went upside down, and he was regretting that why did he even gave this benediction. And because he gave this benediction, he'll be held responsible. Yeah, just like Hiranyakashipu was given the benediction by Lord Brahma. So who is responsible? Lord Brahma. Yeah. So similarly, for Ravana, the benediction was given by Lord Shiva. So he was held responsible. So similarly, for killing Indra, then Kashyapa Muni will be held responsible. So we will stop the class here. It's already 7:45 here. I guess in India it's 9:50. We have exceeded 15 minutes. Yeah. So we'll close the class. Does anyone have any question, any clarification?